Happy Saturday, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Forst here. Welcome to Hurricane Hub Live, the show that happens every day, Monday through Friday, and we've been doing it on Saturday and Sunday as well at 8 o'clock to talk about, what's going on in the tropics. And for right now, all quiet pretty much on the Western Front. That's exactly what you like to see this time of year. But there is an area we are watching out there right now. Now, we are heading towards the peak of the season. The peak is about September 10th. So during this time of year, we could be seeing, a really busy situation with storm after storm. But luckily, we're not seeing a whole lot out there right now. So it's a rather quiet Labor Day weekend. But we do have a tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa tomorrow. And right now, there's about a 30% chance of tropical development over the next week. Now, it's going to be a slow development. The models have this trying to form over the next 7 days into next weekend. So it's not going to be a quick thing once it emerges into the warmer waters off the coast of Africa. It's going to take its time to try and get its act together. So we have plenty of time to watch this thing. It is still just coming off the coast of Africa right now. Going to head towards the Cape Verde Islands, giving them some rain showers and some thunderstorms as well. And that'll continue to progress off towards the west. So seeing some storms bubbling up here just off the coast, and that's going to continue to progress off towards the west over the next day or so, emerging into some warmer waters, which of course is suitable for tropical development. You need waters really at least 80 degrees or warmer to get that tropical development. And of course, in the MDR, the main development region, we certainly have that this time of year. That's when we start to see, the warmest waters as we get towards end of August and into September. So temperatures around here, in the upper 70s in the oranges to lower 80s here in the lighter reds, and then the mid 80s over into the Caribbean in those darker reds. So the warmer waters certainly all the way off towards the west into areas around the Gulf, into the Caribbean, around Cuba, and a lot of those islands. But of course, this time of year, water temperatures certainly suitable. Now, right now, that wave is kind of right in this area here. So there's a bit of wind shear, but as it continues to go off towards the west, there's pockets of not much wind shear. So as we get into the day tomorrow, it emerges out into the warmer waters. There's some wind shear up towards the north, down to the south. But, if it tries to stay, in this pocket here where there's not a lot of wind shear, that, of course, would help it start to, try and get its act together. Because wind shear, of course, acts to squash any tropical development. So you like to see wind shear in the ocean this time of year. But if you don't have any of that, that's when you could get those storms and waves to really start to get their act together and become more tropical in nature. Here's a look at the vorticity, the European model. You have the tropical wave coming off the coast, heading into the day tomorrow, but not, a quick blow up, which is good. But over the next week or so, you'll notice a bit of some spin here with that vorticity as we get into next weekend. So a week from today, it's still way out in the middle of the Atlantic. Won't be hurting anybody. It'll be just, a regular storm, whether it's a tropical storm at this point or still a tropical depression, still unknown. This is the European model, the GFS doing something similar, having it be, kind of a slow build over the next week and then continuing it off towards the west as we get into next Sunday. Now, this doesn't look, super impressive at this point, but certainly we do have that chance to see some of that tropical development over the next week or so with this tropical wave. The GFS model, of course, in similar agreement to the European. So that's an indication that we really still have to watch this one as we head into next weekend. But also another area, even though it's not highlighted right now, there's an area we should, maybe keep our eye on over the next couple of days. When you get these fronts coming off the East Coast or the Gulf, you could get a low pressure to form on those fronts. And then when or if that low pressure system breaks away from that front, you can get, kind of a tropical system forming in the warmer waters. That's kind of the short, answer from that. And that's what we could see, over the next couple of days. The European model kind of does, take an area of spin of low pressure and moving it off towards the north. So could we see, maybe a quick tropical depression forming around this area as we head into the middle and end of next week? Maybe, but it's not highlighted right now. I don't think the National Hurricane Center, not very, what's the word? Not very interested or really think much of it is going to come from that front. But some of the models are saying there could be a little bit of a spin, a little low pressure forming from that front coming off the East Coast. So just something to watch. And if something was to form, it'd likely be very weak and move away from land. So that's the good news there. Let's take a look here at the Atlantic tropical activity. It is August 30th, which is hard to believe. The summer absolutely flew by, and we are really approaching the peak of the hurricane season. It is just about 10, 11 days away, which is really hard to believe. But right now, things are relatively quiet besides that one area we are watching. But as we get into the peak and even towards the end of September, you could still see a lot of activity. And the model's kind of hinting that we could see more of that activity picking up as we get into the second half of September. So the season is far from over. We still have months left of the hurricane season. It goes until the end of November, November 30th. So still plenty of time. Even if you don't have your preparations yet, it still can't hurt to, maybe go out, get some of those items you may need just in case, a storm does head your way as we head into the next month or two. But still, the peak of the season, September 10th, and we are quickly approaching that. Here's a look at the past names we've seen so far this season. We've had a couple named storms. We've only had one hurricane, and it was a major hurricane, Cat 5, which was Aaron, which just came through just last week. But we've had Andrea, Barry, Chantel, Dexter. Then we had Aaron and Fernand, which didn't really do much. It was a fish storm. That's the good news there. Next name on the list would be Gabrielle, Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor. Hopefully we don't get that far down the list, but we will see that next name, Gabrielle, there. All right, coming up on Hurricane Hub Live, we're going to take a look on what's going on in the Eastern Pacific. There's a few areas we have to watch. Likely we'll see tropical depression forming soon, but also Hurricane Hub Live trivia. That's coming up after the break. Welcome back to Hurricane Hub Live. I'm meteorologist Hunter Forst. Let's take a look about what's going on in the Eastern Pacific. They have started to pick up on some activity. Two areas to watch out there right now, and high chances that we will see a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm forming within the next couple of days, especially this area here in red, which is really far away from any land. So that's the good news. A 90% chance of development over the next couple of days. So we will likely see a tropical depression forming maybe tomorrow or the next day, but that will continue off towards the west. And then you see Hawaii all the way out over there in the middle of the ocean. Luckily, this area here, if it does develop into a tropical storm or a hurricane, not likely will affect Hawaii. So some good news there. But then we have this area here just off the coast of southern Mexico, a 40% chance of development over the next 2 days, but jumps to an 80% over the next week. So certainly this one's something to watch over the next couple of days, because this area here, as it continues to form and move off towards the north, could stay a little bit closer to land. So definitely we'll see some rough surf around Mexico and up towards Cabo. So, of course, that one is also something to watch as we go throughout the next week. The Eastern Pacific has been a bit busier than the Atlantic. We've seen a few more named storms here. They've had Alvin, Barbara, down towards Flossie and Gil. Latest was Juliet, which just happened a couple days ago. Also had a few more hurricanes. They've had Barbara, Eric, which is a Cat 4, and Flossie and Gil as well. Next name on the list for this for the Eastern Pacific will be Kiko, and then Lorena. As we head into the next couple of days, could certainly see Kiko starting to form. All right, let's take a look at Hurricane Hub Live trivia. What is the average diameter of a hurricane's eye? Is it 1 to 2 miles, 5 to 10 miles, 75 to 100 miles, or 20 to 40 miles? It's a tough one. I'll let you know what the answer is on Hurricane Hub Live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I hope you'll join me again. I appreciate you joining me tonight. We'll continue to talk about that area over in the Atlantic, the wave that's coming off the coast of Africa. We'll go over that once again tomorrow. And then we'll be back here again on Monday evening starting at 8 o'clock. I hope to see you then, and thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your evening.